A very good morning, class. I hope you all are going through the videos which are being sent by all of us teachers. So, class, as you all know, we are continuing with lesson number 3, that is issue of shares. Now, class, many of the topics are being covered in this particular lesson. So, before we move on further to the today's topic, let us revise the topics which we have covered so far, because 70% of the chapter is over and only 30% is remaining. Out of that, 15% we are covering today, and the next 15% will be covering by tomorrow. So, class, I just want you all to spare some time and listen to the topics which we are revising so that you understand what all topics we covered in this particular chapter. So, starting with the very first topic, that was BB's company's private limited share capital. That means we studied what is the meaning of share capital and how a particular company issues the share capital, be it a public company or private company. So, class, in this we had Mr. Boss Baby with us, who took us throughout how was his procedure, how did he carry out his procedure while issuing the share capital. So the topics which we covered were: number 1, authorized or nominal or registered share capital. This is the total amount of the capital which is planned by the company that will be required to it in order to start and function and carry out its business activities. So we saw that the authorized or nominal or registered capital was rupees 10 lakh. Now the company doesn't issue the entire 10 lakh at one time. So the authorized capital is divided into two parts: issued and unissued. Issued capital was the part of the capital which is offered to the public for buying. Okay, so that is called as the issued capital. And the part which is kept aside and not issued for the public to buy, not given, not offered, that is called as unissued capital. Now, for example, 4 lakh was issued out of 10 lakh and 6 lakh was kept aside. Issued capital is again divided into two parts. Now, whatever capital I am issuing, it is not compulsory that all the capital the public is ready to buy. So the part of the capital which is bought or bought or purchased, that is called as subscribed capital. So for example, 40,000 equity shares may say only 30,000 are subscribed or bought by the public. The remaining 10,000 is unsubscribed capital. The subscribed capital is again divided into three parts: the called up capital, uncalled capital, and reserve capital. Calls we covered that it means installments. So called up capital means the company is not calling, it is demanding a part of the capital to be paid. Okay, so that is called as called up capital, that is paying in installment. We'll be covering this topic again in our today's session. Uncalled means which is not to be paid, which you can pay afterwards, that is uncalled capital. And reserve capital means a part of the capital which the company keeps as reserve for the future. The called up capital is divided into two parts: the paid up and calls in arrears. Paid up capital, the capital which is already been paid. For example, 20,000 equity shares, 5 rupees each ke hisab se, the company has received 1 lakh rupees. But out of the 30,000 called up equity shares, only 20,000 are paid up. 10,000 are still remaining. So as per 5 rupees, the total amount pending to be received by the company which is outstanding or which are calls in arrears, that is 50,000 rupees. So this was the first topic which we started. Class, I hope with the brush up everything is being grasped and revised again. After that class, we studied what were the different methods used by the company to issue the shares. So class, in this we saw in detail there were 4 different methods the company uses for issue of shares. Number 1, the public offer. That means the capital which is offered to the public. Now, this is done by two types of methods. IPO, that is initial public offer, that is the very first time the offer is made to the public. FPO, follow on or further public offer. Once the first time offer is made to the public, second time again or third time again you're making the offer to the public, that is called as follow up or further public offer. Now, this particular public offer is also done by using two methods by the company, that is fixed price issue method and book building method. So I request you all to go through all the parts sent previously to understand them in detail. The second type of method was existing equity shareholders. So issuing the shares to your existing shareholders of the company. Again, this was done by two types, rights issue and bonus issue. The third type was issuing the shares to the existing employees. So there are different methods. Employee stock option scheme, employee stock purchase scheme, then you had sweat equity, and then you had stock appreciation right scheme. So this was the four methods basically which are used by the company for issuing of shares to its existing employees. Then you had private placements, that is not exceeding a group of 200 people. That is called as private placement. You are only offering the shares to a selective group of individuals. It can be any group like the mutual funds or the foreign institutional investments or insurance funds or venture capitalists. That everything is decided by the board of directors. So again, you have right issue and preferential allotment. So these were the methods which we covered one by one and in detail with lot of examples. So class, I request you all again to go through all the methods once again. And if you have any doubt, please let me know. Then 2 days prior, we were on this topic, allotment of shares. So by allotment of shares means giving particular shares to the people who have applied in written. Remember class that in written they have given the application that we want the shares of the particular company. We are interested to buying the shares of the company. Now, allotment of shares has to be done in demat form by these three companies we saw. These three requirements had to be fulfilled. A company doing public offer in excess of rupees 10 crores, any unlisted public company which is going for a new issue with effect from 10 September 2018, and any other class as specified or prescribed by the Companies Act 2013. Then also, I explained this topic yesterday class. If the company fulfills all the provisions which is specified, that is both general and statutory, then it is called as regular allotment. If not, even if a single provision is not fulfilled, then allotment is considered as invalid and irregular. Now, what were these provisions or conditions? This also we have already finished. So there were two principles, general and statutory. In general, I gave you all the smart code PAARC, that is PAARC. These were the smart codes. There were 6 general principles the company has to follow and 8 statutory provisions. The smart code was RAMA B COP, RAMA B COP. So you can go through all these points. I'm just giving you a brush up of the topic which we finished up till now. Then we saw the process of allotment. It involves 3 steps, and in detail also we saw the process yesterday. That means the company has to issue the prospectus and the application form. After that, the applicants will be filling out the form and paying the application money to the company's banker, to the lead merchant banks. And then the board meeting will be held in which all these acceptances, whom to give and whom not to give, will be decided by the board of directors by passing a special resolution. So these were the procedure of allotment of shares which we covered yesterday class. The smart code was, I told you all, the order should not be changed. So the smart code was a high profile case, Anil Ambani's fastest plane. So starting with the first particular A was, you have to appoint allocation committee. After that we saw you have to hold the board meeting in order to decide the basis of allotment. Then you have to pass the board resolution to undertake the action. After that, the next points which we saw was collection of the allotment money. You have to collect. The minimum is 5% as per SEBI and 25% if it is a public issue. Arrangements relating to letters of renunciation. Renunciation, the meaning was to give up the shares. If you are not interested, you can give away your shares, you can transfer your shares, you can sell your shares to the other party. Arrangements relating to splitting of allotment letters. As I told you, splitting means the shares are the same, but the name will be different, allotting more than one names to the shares which you have purchased of the company. Then you have, after all the allotment procedure is being done, the secretary has to file the return of allotment within 30 days with the registrar of companies. And after that only she or he can prepare the register of the members and issue them the share certificates. So these were the topics which we covered up till now. So after allotment of shares, you had share certificate. Then we saw how can a company issue a duplicate share certificate. What are the contents of a share certificate? Now topics for today are also already being discussed last year as well as in some of the topics which we covered recently. So the very first topic class is calls on shares. So just now 2-3 minutes before I had explained you all called up capital. So basically calls on shares is nothing but when a company demands the shareholders to pay a part or full amount of the balance amount unpaid on shares, it is called as the calls on shares. So basically whatever balance is left, whatever amount you have not paid yet, if the company is demanding you to pay that particular balance amount, it is called as calls on shares. So what I told you all class, calls generally don't mean phone calls. It generally stands for the installment. So the company gives you chances or it doesn't demand the full money at one time. It asks you to pay in installments and these installments are called as calls. And these are apart from the allotment and the application money. The amount which you are applying for buying of shares is different and the number of shares you are purchasing, for that you have to pay separate money which is called as calls on shares. The unpaid amount on partly paid up shares is a liability of the shareholder. Correct. Liability means what? कर्जा है आप पे, बराबर ना? If you have not paid the money, मतलब आप पे कर्जा है, वो आपकी liability है. So you have to pay it to the company, otherwise it will be a liability of the shareholder. If the shareholder or the owner of the share is not able to pay the unpaid part, the remaining part of money on the shares, then that will lead to forfeit of shares. So class, remember this word again, forfeit or forfeiture. This also we have already done in our previous lectures. And today once again we'll be revising these topics. So followed class, what are calls on shares meanings? It is nothing but the unpaid part which is still left to be paid on the shares which you have purchased. If the company is demanding, you have to pay. If you are not able to pay, then your shares will be forfeited. So let us complete this topic first, that is calls on shares. Now basically there is a procedure. The calls on shares can be made only by the board of directors in the interest of the company. Now they cannot anytime call you and say, chalo bhai paisa bharna hai, remaining part hai. No. Everything has to be done systematically. So how is the person or the member informed or requested? The company has to send the call letter or call notice. So a notice has to be sent to the member, to the shareholder, to the owner that so and so much money is pending, please pay the calls on time within a specified period. And this call letter or notice should be sent, and how many days time should be given? Minimum 14 days notice should be, minimum 14 days of time should be given along with the notice to pay the call money in the company's bank. then not more than 25% of the nominal value of the shares can be asked by the company. तो ये मैंने आपको last time भी सिखाया था. For example, if you are buying 100 shares of the company, so what will be 100 का 25%? So 100 का 25% is nothing but 25 rupees. So 100 into 25 upon 100. So 100. If you're buying 100 shares of the company at 10 rupees each, so that means you are investing 1000 rupees, correct, in the company. So out of 1000, the company can ask not more than 25% of the nominal value of the shares. So that means it cannot force you to pay the entire 1000 rupees at one time. If you are buying 100 shares of the company for 10 rupees each, so at one time, maximum of 25 rupees you can pay, that is 100 ka 25%. But yes, if I tell you to calculate 1000 rupees ka 25%, so minimum of 250 rupees you have to pay to the company. So that is if you are buying 100 shares at rupees 10. So basically 250 rupees is the nominal amount of money that you have to pay as per the company demanding. So that is called as calls on shares. Okay. So not more than 25% of the nominal value the company can ask you to pay. Moving forward to the next one. The gap between two calls should not be less than 1 month. So when the company is sending your notice, the notice period, the gap between the two calls should be at least of 1 month. तो minimum एक महीने का time होना चाहिए दो calls के बीच में. So if the company is making you call today, that is on 24th of June, then on 24th July or after 24th July, it can call or ask you again if you have not paid the money till that time. So the gap should be not less than 1 month. So minimum it should be 1 month or it can be more. The rules and all the procedures to make the call is given in the company's articles of association because it is related to the internal matters of the company. So that is why it is given in the second document, the second most important document of the company, that is articles of association. So is the procedure clear, class, for calls on shares, meaning of calls on shares? Okay. Moving forward to the next topic, forfeiture of shares. So now what is the meaning of forfeiture of shares? If the shareholder fails to pay the calls on the shares within a certain time limit, then the board of directors, if they are authorized by the articles of association, can forfeit the shares of the shareholder. That is, take away the ownership of the member. तुम्हें इतना warnings देने के बाद, now for example, if a student in a college misbehaves, in spite of giving warnings, he does not listen, then the one solution which is left with the college is either to suspend the student or cancel his what? Application. Cancel his admission from the college. So forfeiture of shares means taking away the ownership of the member. Uska membership ही cancel कर दो. That is called as forfeiture of shares. So in spite of giving time, in spite of calling, in spite of sending the notice, the person, the shareholder is not paying the calls, the remaining installment on the shares. So the company can take a decision, the board of directors can decide to take away his ownership and cancel the membership from the company. Only partly paid up shares can be forfeited. Correct, na? Because he has only paid half part of the shares, half part is remaining. जो half part remaining है उसने आधा ही पैसा भरा है तो ठीक है, आधा पैसा भरना बाकी है. So the company can forfeit only the partly paid up shares of the member. The company has to send a notice and must give again minimum 14 days time from the date of service of the notice to make the payment along with the interest. So first you are giving him warning, you are giving him a specific time period, a fortnight time, that is 14 days का notice, 2 हफ्ते का notice आप उसको दे रहे हो, time दे रहे हो, but if he is not able to pay, then you can take away his membership. आप उसके shares cancel कर सकते हो, वापस ले सकते हो और उसको कंपनी से बेदखल कर सकते हो. In simple words, The company can reissue the forfeited shares, which is not same as allotment of shares. So the company can go for reissue. Reissue is not same as allotment of shares. Allotment of shares is a different process. Reissue is already a different process. On reissue, if the company gets more money than the calls which was due, then the excess amount is paid to the member. Now, sometimes if the company is reissuing, for example, 1000 rupees you invested, बराबर, but you were only able to pay 250 rupees. तो 1000 में से 250 आप भर पाए, कितना भरना बाकी था आपका? 750 rupees. तो आपको 14 दिन बोला, आपको 14 दिन दिया, इतना रिमेम्बर करवाया कि भरना है, बट यू वर नॉट एबल टू डू. सो कंपनी ने डिसाइड किया कि हम शेयर्स को रीइश्यू करते हैं. नाउ व्हेन द कंपनी डिसाइडेड टू रीइश्यू द शेयर्स, पेंडिंग अमाउंट कितना था? 750 रुपए. लेकिन कंपनी को कितना मिल रहा है? 800 रुपए या मान लो 900 रुपए. इट इज मोर देन द कॉल्स विच वाज ड्यू. You had to receive 750 rupees for the remaining shares, but now you are getting offers for 800 and 850. So whatever is the excess amount, जितना ज्यादा पैसा आ रहा है, that is paid to the member of the that particular shares, जिसने होल्ड किया था, जिसके शेयर्स आपने रीइश्यू कर दिए. बिकॉज कंपनी को जितना चाहिए वो कंपनी रखेगी, एक्स्ट्रा पैसा द कंपनी विल गिव बैक टू द मेंबर हु हैड परचेज दोस शेयर्स. So that is on reissue, if the company is getting more money than the calls which was due, then the excess amount is paid back to the member. The board can cancel the forfeituring process provided the member requests the board before they are reissued. So if you can make a request, the board can give you some time and consider you before the reissue. एक बार शेयर reissue हो गए, फिर आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते, आपके शेयर्स कैंसिल हो जाएंगे, आप उसके ओनर्स नहीं रहोगे. तो अगर आपको चाहिए कि आपके कैंसिलेशन ना हो शेयर्स की, आपकी ओनरशिप की, so see to it that within a specific time period you should pay the calls which is demanded by the company. That is the pending installments on shares. Okay, so is the topic clear? Forfeiture of shares का meaning. Now what are the effects of forfeiture of shares? अगर आपका forfeiture किया शेयर्स का, तो आप पे क्या इफेक्ट पड़ेगा एज अ मेंबर, एज अ होल्डर ऑफ दोस शेयर्स? नंबर 1, सीजेशन ऑफ मेंबरशिप. सीजेशन का मतलब है आपको उस कंपनी के शेयर्स जो आपने खरीदे थे उससे बेदखल कर दिया जाएगा. दैट मीन्स योर मेंबरशिप विल बी सीज्ड. सीज्ड मीन्स यू विल हैव नो राइट्स, no voting rights, no membership rights, even your name from the register of the members जो ROC के पास है, जो सेक्रेटरी ने मेंटेन करके रखा है, उस रजिस्टर में से आपका नाम क्या हो जाएगा? कट हो जाएगा. So that is called as cessation of membership. That means you will lose all your membership and ownership rights, and your name from the register of the members also will be cancelled. Liability of the member. Liability of the member का मतलब है apart from, even if you are forfeited, even if your shares are forfeited, आप पे liability रहेगी जब तक आप वो पैसा कंपनी को वापस नहीं कर देते. So the liability still remains with the member even if his shares are forfeited. जब तक कंपनी शेयर्स रीइश्यू नहीं करती है, इट इज अ लायबिलिटी ऑफ द पर्सन टू पे द कंपनी द शेयर्स एनी हाउ. जब शेयर्स रीइश्यू हो जाएंगे तो बंदा अपने आप को लायबिलिटी से क्या हो जाएगा? फ्री हो जाएगा. सो अंटिल एंड अनलेस द शेयर्स आर रीइश्यूड, द लायबिलिटी ऑफ द मेंबर इज स्टिल remaining with that particular member even after his shares are forfeited. So he is still liable to pay the company the remaining unpaid part on the shares. Liquidation of the company. If the company is getting liquidated, मतलब dissolved, बंद होने वाली है, wind up होने वाली है, within 1 year from the forfeiture of shares. एक साल के अंदर अंदर जब आपने बंदे के शेयर्स forfeit किए थे, ले लिए थे, कैंसिल कर दिए थे, and within that period of 1 year your company is getting into liquidation, the liability still remains with the member because he was a past member of the company. तो भले कंपनी बंद हो रही है फिर भी बंदे पे कर्जा रहेगा कि उसको वो लाइबिलिटी, वो 750 रुपए उसको चुकाने ही होंगे कंपनी को किसी तरीके से, if the company is getting liquidated within 1 year from the forfeiture of shares. So these three are the effects of forfeiture of shares on the particular member. So is the topic clear, class? Coming towards the last topic of the day, surrender of shares. तो surrender कर देना means अपने आप कस्टडी में आ जाना. तो आपने सुना होगा ना, सरेंडर कर दो. सरेंडर मीन्स voluntarily, nobody is forcing. So surrender of shares means the voluntary return of shares by the member to the company for cancellation. बंदा सामने से आके कंपनी को बोल रहा है कि आप मेरे शेयर्स को कैंसिल कर दो. आई एम सरेंडिंग माई शेयर्स बैक टू द कंपनी बिकॉज आई एम नॉट इन अ पोजिशन टू पे द मनी, द अमाउंट ऑन द शेयर्स विच आई हैड आस्क्ड फॉर. तो मान लो बंदे ने 100 इक्विटी शेयर्स खरीदे 10 रुपीज के हिसाब से. सो ही कुड पे ओनली 250 रुपीज एज द नॉमिनल वैल्यू. रिमेनिंग इज 750 रुपीज. In spite of giving him warnings, he is not able to pay. तो कंपनी के कैंसिल करने से पहले बंदा खुद ही कंपनी के पास जाके बोलता है कि मैं अपने शेयर्स सरेंडर करने के लिए तैयार, बिकॉज और कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है. अगर वो सरेंडर नहीं करेगा तो कंपनी फोरफीट कर लेगी. So it's one and the same. Rather than company telling him to go, he is telling that I am leaving the company. That means company से निकालने से पहले बंदा खुद resign कर रहा है. That is the case, you can say. That is the meaning of surrender of shares. Surrender of shares is allowed only if there is no other option left but to forfeit his shares. So if the company is giving an option, या तो तू surrender कर दे या तो हमें forfeit करना पड़ेगा. So it is as good as आगे खाई है और पीछे कुआं है. Anyways you have to jump. या तो कुएं में कूदो या तो खाई में. So that is the situation. Okay. So surrender is allowed in that case. अगर forfeit option बचता है तो. Again only the partly paid up shares can be surrendered. They can also be reissued like the forfeiture of the shares. But the company doesn't support surrender of shares. Why? Because it leads to reduction in capital. Hence the companies avoid surrender of shares. Now when you are buying shares of the company, इसका मतलब आपने कंपनी को पैसा दिया है ना, अगर आप आपके शेयर्स सरेंडर कर दोगे कंपनी को, दैट मीन्स कंपनी का पैसा कम हो जाएगा. So there will be reduction in the capital of the company. Company is not taking away your shares. You are giving voluntarily the company के you take my shares, I will not be able to pay. तो आपने जो शेयर्स वापस कर दिए उसका पैसा कौन देगा? बिकॉज इन सरेंडर ऑफ शेयर्स यू डोंट हैव द लाइबिलिटी. जैसे हमने फोरफीचर में देखा, फोरफीट होने के बाद भी यू आर स्टिल लाइबल टू पे द कंपनी अंटिल री इशू ऑफ द शेयर्स. बट सरेंडर ऑफ शेयर्स में ऐसा नहीं है. वंस यू गिव अप वॉलंटरीली देन यू डोंट हैव एनी लाइबिलिटी ऑन. That is why the company avoids the surrender of shares, because it leads to reduction in capital of the company. So I hope class, the three topics, small topics which we studied, that is calls on shares, forfeiture of shares and surrender of shares is clear. Apart from that, whatever topics I revised today just now, please listen to those videos carefully in order to get the concept clear. So class, we stop here for today and we'll continue tomorrow the remaining part of the lesson. So thank you so much. Stay safe, take care and keep learning and keep revising. Thank you so much.